So, hi, I'm Tiffany, Kindle Vixen. This is going to be really awkward because I don't generally enjoy being on camera, and I'm actually not entirely sure why I'm doing this other than, I don't know. So, I guess I wanted to talk briefly about the tablet. It's a Viewsonic G Tablet. I ended up getting it from woot.com because the hardware specs were really good. However, most agreed that the software, although it runs Android 2.3, I think, I'd have to double check, the ROM on it is it's something called Tap and Type, I think, and by Viewsonic, and it's really not very good. So therefore, the tablet itself isn't really taking advantage of the hardware effectively, but it was $244, I think, and like I said, the hardware specs were really good, so I thought, why not? If you can flash the ROM with a better system, then it should be a really good tablet. So that's what eventually I'm going to do. But first I thought I would talk just a tiny bit about the tablet and its stock state. I don't actually know how well these will show up here. Probably not very well. If I cannot hit the keyboard and not get the glare. No, you're going to get glare. So it is 10-inch, but I will say it's very vertical versus it feels very vertical. However, it also is very comfortable in the landscape mode. That seems to be my default way of grabbing it. It runs just like every other Android tablet. You can tap your little screens and you have all your home pages. I think what I've counted there are 4 on this one. You have your buttons. Ooh, I can't get it there. Your buttons along the side. To go home, your menu. It's just like an Android phone in that regard. The buttons are all the same. App-wise, the downfall is that it doesn't come with the Android Market. It comes with something called G Market, which I haven't actually been able to get to work effectively. It does come with Pandora, Twitter, the Kindle app, Facebook, Angry Birds, weather and photo video apps all installed. But I was really hoping that some of my Android phone apps I'd be able to download to the tablet, and so far I can't because I can't get to the Android Market. I'm assuming that when I flash the ROM with a different system that it will be just fine. I know that there's some issues with getting the Market app working, but I think that the one I've chosen is fine. You can see, no, you can't see because of the glare. Ha ha ha! Twitter is kind of weird. I don't really dig this layout of the Twitter app, but I have not tried any of the other apps to see if they're different. I also can't seem. Hold on, let's see if I can get it. But like screen-wise, it actually isn't so bad. If you were to do it that way, it's kind of nice. Vertical, it's a little. Typing on it is interesting. Your keyboard, let me see if I can get it close enough that you can see. Your keyboard is split, but it's still not quite big enough to like set down and type properly. So I one finger it, and that takes a long time, but I imagine that I'll eventually get better with my thumbs because I'm a thumb typer, and it'll be fine. I think there's some custom keyboards that I'm going to try out. The biggest reason that I decided to get a tablet was because I was going to use it for textbooks, because renting them from Amazon through the new Kindle textbook rental program is vastly cheaper than even renting paper copies. For example, I can rent my C++ programming book for $40, maybe I think maybe 54 for the entire fall semester, and it's, I mean, $54, where if I were buying it used, even I was paying $130. So I heard a lot of people complain, or I guess I read a lot of people complain that it was slow, and I really haven't found that to be true. It seems fairly responsive to me. Sometimes it's a little bit draggy, but for the most part, I've not. I think that if you weren't overly techy, and that you'd be perfectly happy with it as it is. Like I said, I got it for $250 or so. I think that if you're willing to spend $250, $300, that I would probably go ahead and wait until we see what Amazon comes out with in terms of tablets, just because chances are that they will be faster and better integrated with the Kindle, the Android market, the Google market, all of that stuff. They'll work better together. Versus this one does seem to have some issues. The downfall is I think that the Amazon tablets won't come with a camera. This one does have a camera. However, the pictures I've taken are really bad. May have just been lighting though. I think that if you were to find this for $200 or something and had absolutely no tech knowledge whatsoever, it's a great tablet for that. If you can root the device and flash a new ROM to it, then I think $250 is probably a really great deal, and you'll end up with a really awesome tablet. Otherwise, I would wait and see what Amazon comes out with. There's been a lot of, the only other thing I would say is that it is kind of heavy, and the branding on the back is really atrocious. I will be covering that up as soon as possible, but it is heavy, heavier than an iPad. It's also not entirely thin, not like overly so, but definitely not small. And I'm trying to think. Oh, the viewing angles. That was the other thing some people complain about. It does seem to have, there are angles where the view is not very good. There's a lot of glare, or you just can't really see. The screen is definitely the weak point of this tablet. However, like I said, the other hardware specs, it's got a Tegra 2 processor. It's got, I think, 16 gigs on board in memory-wise, and so, I mean, the other hardware specs kind of make up for that. And I honestly haven't had, like, the viewing angles haven't been that big of a deal to me, but I also haven't really been playing with it that much. Maybe I'll have a different opinion when I start watching video and playing games on it. But overall, like I said, if you are not super techy and don't mind spending $300, I'd wait and see what Amazon has to offer. If you are okay with rooting a device and flashing new ROM, then I say $250, go for it. I mean, I think even Amazon is $260 with 2-day shipping if you have a Prime account, so that I would have paid that easily, and then you can return it if you don't like it. So I guess that's kind of it. Now that I've done this and got this out of the way, I am going to root it, flash it, and hopefully like it better.